Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. Launceston is set to receive a boost to hospital services after Labor offered funding support to the Health Hub and the Liberals matched it. Health is still the focus of the election campaign, with stakeholders put offside by an ambitious claim to ban ambulance ramping.
An expansion's taking shape at the Launceston Health Hub, and Labor wants it to ease pressure on the LGH.
A Labor government will support the leasing of these 20 beds, staffing them with staff from the LGH.
Also providing a $70 million loan to add a new elective surgery centre.
This partnership will allow doctors to be attracted to the state with state-of-the-art health facilities that would otherwise not be here working in Tasmania.
After 10 years of a Liberal government, the health system has been eroded during that time.
Labor's still committed to the planned LGH expansion and finding a new partner for a co-located private facility. Just hours later, the Liberals offered a 50% stake in the Health Hub project, also driving home their health policy.
We're stepping up to the plate to ensure we're investing in GPs and our primary health care.
Unveiling plans for extra ADHD specialists and to extend a bulk billing health outreach program for 2 years.
A lot of the people that we're supporting are homeless or they're couch surfing. They really don't have that extra funds to be able to go and see a GP.
But stakeholders are split on a claim to ban ambulance ramping by transferring patients within 30 minutes.
Banning ramping is just going to move the patients from the care of the paramedics into a corridor, and at the moment we're not sure what that's going to look like.
Guy Barnett says he's working with all stakeholders, but the nurses' union was caught off guard, still consulting on the previously proposed 60-minute time frame.
This policy has been announced in an election campaign that is completely out of step with what is actually happening on the ground. It's disingenuous to suggest that a ban on ambulance ramping is going to solve the issue.
We will deliver the resources that are necessary to get the job done.
No place for Band-Aid solutions. Josh Duggan, 7 Tasmania News.
And with less than 3 weeks until the March 23 voting date, pre-polling is now available. 6 booths open today across the state, with more to open on March 18. Voters can find their nearest booth on the TEC website. Tasmania's accommodation sector has started the year on the right note, showing more signs it's recovering from a pandemic slump. The latest hotel occupancy report revealing more than 85% of available hotel rooms were filled throughout January, the 4th highest rate on record. The Tasmanian Hospitality Association says the jump cements the state's reputation as a premier tourism destination, crediting the Taste of Summer's expansion and other summer festivals for the bounce back. A police operation targeting repeat offenders has laid more than 2,000 charges against around 650 people in the past year. The crimes range from aggravated robbery to drug and firearm offences, disqualified driving and breaching bail. Tasmania Police says a relatively small number of people in our community are responsible for a significant amount of offences and will continue Task Force Saturate to create a safer environment. Tasmania's football community has shown overwhelming interest in the statewide AFL launch events on March 18. Reporter Ruby Cairns is outside one of the event sites, and Ruby, tickets were snapped up in record time.
That's right, Kim. Tickets for the Hobart launch event here at the Theatre Royal were snapped up in just 3 minutes, while for Launceston, Devonport and Oatlands, they were taken in 2 hours. There are still some tickets available for St Helens and Queenstown, with some good news for southern residents. The club's exploring the possibility of a second Hobart launch site to watch the historic moment. And Kim, of course, there will be a live stream to make sure that no footy fans miss out.
Okay, thank you very much there, Ruby. Labor says more funds towards diversionary and rehabilitation services for at-risk children is the answer to youth crime. The party is pledging nearly $4 million to the JCP Youth Organisation to grow mentoring, engagement and diversion programs.
We have a large number of young people that don't need police interdiction. The reason that they're offending at the moment is because they don't have enough community support.
I used to be like out in the streets, just going out, breaking into people's houses, stealing stuff, and then I went on a JCP camp and the moment I was on there just was a big change to me.
A children's court would be established, while police would also receive funding for repeat offender task forces. Meanwhile, the Greens journeyed to the Springs, vowing to promote 8 big tree destinations across Tasmania as part of an election pledge to grow environmental tourism across the state.
In the balance of power, the Greens will invest $13 million over the next 4 years into new nature tourism possibilities, untapped markets for Tasmania.
The party also promising to invest in tourism infrastructure and push whichever party is elected to government to work alongside land care and conservation groups. Tasmanian doctors are calling for our next elected government to properly address the treatment and diagnosis of young patients suffering from ADHD, saying what's needed is a whole system approach and for equity barriers to be abolished.
It's the most prevalent neurodevelopmental disorder in the country, but with an election on the horizon, there's a spotlight on how it's dealt with in Tasmania.
So what we'd be calling for is an evidence-based approach to treatment for ADHD that's timely and equitable.
These doctors are calling for the barriers to assessment and treatment to be addressed, especially when it comes to children, with over 3,000 currently on the public system waitlist.
Other states do it so much better because they allow a proper shared care consultant primary provider relationship for the children that are straightforward, and we can keep the specialists for the children that are more complicated.
There are fears the years wasted waiting to get a diagnosis have a severe impact on a child's education and could be a contributing factor to Tasmania's low literacy rates.
These aren't issues that need a band-aid approach, they need a whole system approach.
It comes after health professionals gathered outside the Royal Hobart Hospital last week, Dr Claire Smith among them. The group calling for the next elected state government to listen to their concerns so patients can receive the treatment they need quickly.
There's many good people on the ground trying to really help their child thrive, but we just don't have the resources we need to provide the support that our next generation requires.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
More students are digging into the world of healthy eating, transferring their skills and knowledge from the garden to the kitchen. Ravenswood Heights Primary School reaping the benefits of the hands-on experience as it looks to expand its involvement in the 24-carat garden program.
We've got all the seeds up here too.
Wow, is
so
it?
You know what, we can use those to replant again.
But it's been a really eye-opening experience for them, and then being able to transfer that love and passion to home is one of the the main aims, so that we give them an opportunity here and then they get to transfer that at home and then continue that healthy eating.
The school's garden is slated for further upgrades as Ravenswood becomes the program's flagship hub for the North and Northwest. A CSIRO voyage 4 years in the making has been hailed a success. Dozens of scientists returning to Australian waters with a better understanding of the Southern Ocean's impact on climate change.
Travelling 12,000 kilometres over 2 months, the RV Investigator has lived up to its name, deployed to study the Southern Ocean system and how it's influencing climate.
What happens in the Southern Ocean really determines what kind of climate we'll experience in the future.
39 scientists on board to document the interconnectedness of the ocean's currents, carbon dioxide, biology, iron levels and atmosphere.
The clouds in the Southern Ocean, for example, are very different than other places, and we have strong evidence now that that's because of the phytoplankton that grows.
We're taking samples that will help us understand what happened 10,000 years ago, but we're also monitoring how the clouds are forming in real time, for example.
Another key finding, the ocean's densest sections are shrinking and its oxygen levels changing due to the Antarctic's melting ice sheets.
Now that we have that information, we'll use that to build better models with the aim of providing decision makers with the best information they can get.
Docking in Fremantle tomorrow before heading home to Hobart. The investigators' voyage might be over, but the research will continue with 22 robotic devices left at sea.
These profiling floats will measure from the sea surface all the way down to the sea floor for 5 to 6 years.
Brianna Boylan, 7 Tasmania News.
It's checkmate for theatre buffs at Launceston's Princess Theatre, where final rehearsals are underway for Chess the Musical. Part love story, part political thriller, it follows a chess tournament amidst the Cold War, with musical pieces from a recognisable duo.
The score was written by Benny and Bjorn from ABBA, probably unlike anything you ever heard them write before. But there are certain parts of the show where you think there's very much an ABBA sound. It's a very rich orchestral piece.
Opening night is Friday. The show's run for 2 weeks.
The Tigers have all but secured themselves a home Sheffield Shield final with a 58-run win over Victoria. Draws for Western Australia and New South Wales this afternoon, buying Tasmania breathing room on the ladder and guaranteeing an appearance in the decider. 2 wickets at Victoria's disposal to make 69 runs. The Tigers admit rocking up to Blunston with nerves, but they needn't have. Gabe Bell taking the first shot with the second ball of the day.
That's it. Sutherland's gone. A disaster for Victoria.
Peter Siddle trying to correct the visitors' course, but just 10 minutes later, the knockout blow from Ian Carlisle.
Siddle caught. It's all over.
Taking a major step towards Tasmania's first Shield title in 13 years.
As a playing group, we're obviously quite young still, barring a couple, Wadey. But it's been a good year. You know, we've still got another game left down here against South Australia, so hoping to win that and hoping to get a Shield final, which will be massive for us.
Bo Webster's 167 not out, the major factor in the Tigers' insurmountable target. Ian Carlisle's 6 wickets and Gabe Bell's 7 across the 2 innings also keeping the Victorians at bay. Man of the match Webster says it's the teamwork that's been holding them in good stead.
Our batting group's been exceptional. Charlie Wakeham, Silky leading from the front. We've had big contributions, and then throughout the order, Brad Hope, even Froggy Freeman getting some runs in most games has been exceptional for us. And our bowling group, Gabe Bell's been unbelievable.
The final hurdle to a home final are the cellar-dwelling Redbacks, who wrangled a draw against New South Wales this afternoon. Campania Football Club's Sam Medhurst has been named National Volunteer of the Year at the Good Sports Awards in Canberra. He was selected by judges for being an exceptional role model to young players on and off the field. North Hobart also picking up a gong, winning the Mental Health Excellence Award for their work protecting player wellbeing. The Hobart Chargers have gone hunting overseas on their mission to make NBL 1 finals this year. Kiwi Zoe Richards heads to Hobart from Hui Ho in the New Zealand Women's League after a stint in Luxembourg. American Terrell Brown left New Mexico for Norway, where he's been playing for Fillingen, averaging 33 points a game and named the league's MVP.
Extremely important to replace Sam McDaniel with someone with high scoring ability, and that's where Terrell fits in.
He'll arrive a bit later than expected, having just made finals in Norway.
Good evening, Hobart. 19 degrees today. Launceston and Scottsdale our top with 21 and just 17 in Devonport and Burnie. Below average numbers today brought about by the cooler southerlies that had quite a few people opting for the old heat pump remote. I don't know where mine is, it's been months. But it was a cold night last night. Bushy Park and Flinders Island 20 today. King Island, Smithton and Friendly Beaches 19. Low Heads and Helens Grove and Strawn all 18. Lyawini ranged from -1 overnight to a top of 15 today. Scattered low cloud over the south, cleared this afternoon. Clear skies over the north. More low cloud cover is over southern WA, eastern Victoria and the New South Wales coast, with the active thunderstorm cloud over northern areas along with southern South Australia. Tomorrow the high moves over the Tasman Sea, allowing a cold front to approach us from the west, troughs still hovering up and across Western Australia. Northeast and northwest winds extending statewide during the morning at 15 to 25 knots, but they'll ease in the afternoon. Hobart tomorrow warming up to 24 and partly cloudy. Adventure Bay 22, a nice day for Tarraleah 23 after a chilly evening. 24 for Launceston and partly cloudy. Devonport a high of 21 and 23 the top for Bridport, fine. Fine and partly cloudy as well for Burnie, 20 the maximum, 23 for Strawn and Marrawar. And St Helens tomorrow a high of 23, sunny for Swansea 25 and 24 the top for Whitemark on Flinders. To Wednesday, fine and sunny everywhere until a shower develops over the west. A fine partly cloudy day on the cards for Thursday, and on Friday a bit warmer and once again fine and dry. Temperatures in the 30s and sunny for Perth, Adelaide and Melbourne, partly cloudy and 26 in Sydney, a shower forecast for Brisbane and a possible storm in Darwin. Partly cloudy and down to 15 in Hobart, 18 in Launceston and 16 right now in Devonport. A little bit nippy, Kim, and I bet you don't blame your husband when the heat pump remote goes missing.
No, I sent him out to chop the wood instead. Thanks, Murph.